Hidden City Ubud is a giant new development at the southern end of Ubud. The developer managed to secure a 3-hectare plot of land, maybe getting an additional hectare on top of that to secure the surroundings. And he's building a large complex that comprises of apartments, townhouses, and small and medium-sized villas, plus a commercial area that has co-working space, shopping, a theater, gym, even a food court, restaurants of course, and a pool club that is basically a beach club without a beach. So all this of course is a very different style than what we normally see in Ubud, and it's also a lot more compact. I mentioned apartments and townhouses. This style is typically normally found in areas where the land price is a lot higher than Ubud. So you can build a lot more dense and more compact. But in Ubud we rarely see townhouses or apartments because the land is fairly affordable still, and you prefer to be a bit more spread out, have your peace, a bit of jungle, rice fields, that kind of style. So it's a different style, it's a huge size. Altogether it adds up to 186 bedrooms across the whole area. And it will be quite an impact and change to the Ubud scenery. Now the question that come up to me is, the first one of course, can the developer pull it off? Such a huge development. Now we have seen similar size objects built successfully. It is quite an achievement to build something of that size in Bali, but we have seen foreign investors and foreign developers pull that off. So actually I'm not that worried about it. If I would buy them, of course I would make sure the contract states the risks are with the developer for the development, and the risks that it operates as a successful business are with me as an investor. Now that brings us to the second part of it. Will it be a successful business? I mentioned the style is different than what we normally see, and the size will be quite a pill to swallow in the Ubud market. 186 bedrooms over several phases, over 3 phases, but still it will hit the market over a period of 2 years only. So is the market there for this style in Ubud? It's a style we often see in Canggu or Seminyak, where people appreciate a more modern, clean style. Of course, in a modern apartment you don't expect to have geckos or any wildlife or anything like that, ants. But in Ubud you typically accept that, and people go there for the jungle, for the nature, and they're okay with that. They appreciate that style, and they don't go for the clean and manicured artificial style. Now there's one other development that comes very close, and that is Parq Ubud. It's at the other end of Ubud, at the north. Actually a similar quality of location. Now the hidden city is at the south end. It looks on the map very central still, but it's too far for most people to walk. And actually it's well embedded in a very steady, very consistent traffic jam in Ubud South, so it won't be that much fun to actually go to Ubud Center. The Parq Ubud is at the northern end, and the distance looks a bit further on the map, but traffic wise it will be much better, so more convenient to go to Ubud downtown. Now this Parq Ubud is also very impressive. It's huge, has one of the largest pools I've seen around there, and it has different styles of units, different sizes of units, from small tiny apartments, more like a hotel room, to small townhouse style ones that give you close to 100 square meter, 2 bedrooms, small kitchen, everything you need. And of course it has all the facilities from restaurants, cafes, co-working space, event spaces, a little bit of shopping, gym, large pool area, everything you can imagine. Now let's have a look at how does Parq Ubud actually perform as a hospitality business. So it's not available on Airbnb or Booking.com for booking. They build their own booking website. And that is something I see occasionally when developers advertise how they estimate the revenue they forecast. They just want to cut out the 15% for the platform fee and tell the potential buyers we save on that by doing our own marketing, doing our own thing, and we will pull that off. Now, I think that is pretty much nonsense. But you pay 15% roughly for Airbnb or Booking. That is a lot of money, no doubt about it. But your property is discoverable by a huge set of people who are planning a trip to your location. They also manage the calendar of bookings. They have tools and processes for bookings as well as cancellations and modifications. They manage your payments, which is never that cheap. So that alone can be close to 5% if you do it yourself. So all that you get in these 15%, and that's quite something. The idea of replacing that at zero cost is just ridiculous. And Parq Ubud goes with its own booking site, and it seems like they're getting a lot less bookings than if they would go on Booking and Airbnb. So what I see is, of course, not the occupancy and the bookings, but I see the rates, and the rates are shockingly low. I can book in the most expensive night of the year, so that would be New Year's Eve, 31st of December. I can book a small room for something like $35, and I can book a 2-bedroom townhouse style, very new, nice apartment on 2 stories for about $80. And that means the average daily rate across the year will be a lot lower than that. Typically more like half of the peak rate. In this case, I would think more like 2/3 of the peak rate, or 70%. But that also means they don't want to go all the way down to where they would fill it, because that would be just too embarrassing and not cover the cost. So the occupancy rate must be quite low. I would assume something like 50%, maybe 60 if they're lucky, but probably more like 50. Now, making that calculation on an $80 townhouse on a 50% occupancy rate, that means 15 nights a month, that gives you only $1,200 revenue a month. From that, you have to pay 15% to the management company, 10% is taxes, so that's a quarter gone already. So you're down to $950. That covers the running cost, which is quoted between $500 and $700. Let's go on the lower end because the occupancy is low as well. So that leaves you with $450 or something like that. So maybe $5,000 a year. And that does not cover the cost of capital. That does not cover the depreciation of your asset. So you're way better off just taking your money, put it in a bank account, savings account, getting the little bit of interest you get there these days. That will cover your annual vacation, the missing interest that you get from that property, and a lot more. And it's not going away from a leasehold property. So it looks like a horrible investment. And really the rates are shocking also in comparison with other properties in Ubud. Looking at Puripadi, it's a small hotel, it's a very old hotel. I would guess it's from the 80s or at most 90s. It's really not glamorous. They just renovated all the rooms, so it's probably nice inside. And I don't want to say anything bad about it. I've stayed there myself and I would go there again. But there's not much glamour about it. It's a 3-star hotel. And they rent the same room or similar sized room. It's the same night for $80. So more than $80 for a comparable but old renovated room in an old hotel. So the rates they're getting in Parq Ubud are really, really bad. And that is a sign that the market in Ubud is not there for this style. And the market will not absorb another large object of the same style in Ubud. So if you buy there, you can assume rental business will be quite bad. You can still buy it if you want to stay there a large part of the year for yourself, so really self-use case. But if you want to buy it as an investment to generate income from renting it out, you will probably get disappointed here. The development Parq, as well as the Hidden City, caters for a Russian-speaking audience, and there are plenty, there are many, but the people who stay there longer will not pay the daily rates that justify the expense of this construction. So over the next couple of years, we will see how that actually turns out. It will take a couple more years for the construction, and then we can go there, have a look. Maybe the facilities are interesting even if you're not staying there. Maybe it's a great opportunity to rent there and have a cheap vacation in Ubud. But right now I would stay away from buying a property there as an investment. I don't think it will be a lucrative and profitable investment in the short as well as in the long run. I believe this style of large-scale accommodations, a modern style, does not really work well in Ubud, but it does in Seminyak, Canggu, or maybe even Uluwatu. So I don't think it's going to be a great investment, but do let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And if you're interested in similar analysis of investment opportunities across Asia, feel free to subscribe to this channel.